tratado de olvidarte. ¿Cuántas veces sin lograrlo así? ¿Cuántas veces, cuántas noches sin tus besos? Aún sabiendo que te alejas más de mí.
Before we begin, I would like to introduce myself to you all. My name is Angelica Ortiz, and I've been working at the Hartford for the past 4 years. My experience with the Hartford is a little different, to say the least. However, I think my experience speaks to the commitment the Hartford has in attracting diverse talent. I'm currently earning my undergraduate degree at the University of Connecticut and work at the Hartford as an intern within their collaboration services team. Our team works to foster end user training in desktop architecture by aligning top-tier training material and software development to our evolving technical culture. Our team leads and supports several high-performing strategic company-wide initiatives. Today, I have the pleasure of being the moderator for our discussion on emerging technologies. Before we get started, I just want to provide you a little background on the Hartford, our relationship with Latinas in Power, and our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Hartford has been a proud sponsor of Latinas in Power since 2016. Hartford employees attend the event each year feeling empowered, rejuvenated, and inspired. Our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion includes developing an inclusive workforce that supports and leverages the diversity of all of our employees so that we can thrive and better serve our customers and communities. At the Hartford, courageous conversations allow employees to respectfully exchange perspectives, promoting an open dialogue to better understand each other even when we disagree. While they can be complex and even uncomfortable, courageous conversations can result in a stronger relationship and ultimately contribute to a more inclusive workplace. We are proud of our inclusive work environment and also of the accolades we have received, including Forbes naming the Hartford as one of the best employers for diversity. Additionally, in 2021, the Hartford was included in Bloomberg's Gender Equality Index for the 6th time in a row. I am so excited to be here leading a panel of 3 amazing leaders from all different areas of the Hartford's technology space. Before we get started with their introductions and questions, I would like to all let you know to please feel free to interrupt us or use the chat room to share any thoughts and questions along the way. Now let's get started with introductions. Irma, I'll start with you. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your role here at the Hartford.
Sure. Hola, everyone. My name is Irma Rivera. I am part of the information technology, and I've been in information technology for over 20 years. I'm a manager of network engineering. My team is responsible for all the remote platforms, domain name services, web security, and network automation. I'm also a member of 2 ERG groups, the Hispanic Leadership Network and the Professional Women's Network. I'm also a leader involved in women in technology in the Hartford. From a background perspective, I have my degree from UConn. I'm also held certifications in Oracle Database Administration, Service Continuity, and web services. So I do love learning, as you can tell. I'm also a US patent holder with the Hartford. And outside of work, I'm a director for adult education at our church. And also this year, my team received a Chairman's Award, which is the pin that I have on my collar. Don't know if you can see it, but it was because we were able to get everybody to work remote during the whole COVID response. So it was a great accomplishment for the company. Thank you.
Thank you, Irma, for sharing a little bit more about yourself. Leslie, let's pivot to you.
Hi, my name is Leslie Sanchez, and I still find it hard to believe that I've been in information technology field for over 30 years. I've spent 14 of those at the Hartford. Over my career, I've had the opportunity to be an application owner, project manager, scrum master, and I'm currently a release train engineer in the small commercial digital sales, where I have management responsibilities for multiple agile teams. I'm passionate about helping our agents and customers do business more easily with the Hartford through technology. I have a Bachelor's of Science degree in Computer Information Systems and a Master's of Social Work degree. I hold several project management and agile certifications. I'm also a member of several ERG groups, including Women in Technology and the Hispanic Leadership Network and the Professional Women's Network. Outside of work, I enjoy spending time with my 4 wonderful children and look forward to being a grandmother later this month. I also serve as council secretary at my church.
Thank you, Leslie. Vanessa, let's go with you.
Hi everyone. I'm sorry we were having technical difficulties. So my name is Vanessa Arce. I've been working for the Hartford for 3 years. I started as an underwriter assistant 2 years ago, and like almost a year and a half ago, the Hartford offered me the opportunity to become a software engineer. I want to say I'm pretty new to the technology field, and what got me interested in coding was my desire to learn. Since I was little, I have always loved math and solving problems. Therefore, I thought that learning how to code was going to be my next challenge. So currently, I work in a small commercial here at the Hartford in the endorsements team.
Thank you, Vanessa, for sharing. I
Mhm.
wanted to go directly into our questions and ask you all how being a woman in a traditionally male dominated technology field, as we all know, can often be super challenging. Knowing this, you took the plunge anyway. What got you interested in such a career? And along with that, what challenges have you personally faced? And how did you overcome such challenges? Leslie, we'll start with you.
In high school, I actually took one of those career interest tests and I scored high in compatibility in technology. So I decided to go to school for computer science. I really liked being presented with a problem and then solving it. I was raised by a single mom who always encouraged me to follow my dreams and passions and never let any obstacles stand in my way. So it really didn't occur to me that technology was a male dominated field. I'm a very outspoken person who has no problem using my voice or advocating for myself, which is something that I learned very early on. I had a great boss and mentor who taught me that it didn't matter if I had all the answers, as long as I knew who to go to or how to find the answers and to never stop learning. That advice has really served me well. We talk about how traditionally technology has been a male dominated field. However, I've been fortunate to work for companies with gender diversity. Data from the National Center for Women in Information Technology states that although women make up 47% of all employed adults in the US, as of 2015, they hold only 25% of the computing roles. And of that, only 1% of those are Hispanic. I think we heard Marilyn talk about the statistics in her opening remarks. There is some good news, however. In 2019, more women were hired into roles of web designer and UX designer, so we are making strides. According to Laura Lorenzetti at LinkedIn, education could be a major factor in why more women are getting hired. And she added that women who have been successful publicly may inspire other women to consider the job for themselves. When more women join the field and succeed, it can have a lasting impact on what kind of worker is encouraged and welcomed to join certain professions.
Thank you, Leslie, for your insight. Irma, let's go with you.
Yes, so that's interesting because I never thought of technology field being a male dominated, never even crossed my mind. My culture, La Latina culture, I have very strong women, that are involved in business, run their own businesses. So, it was part of my upbringing to see strong women dominating and going where they wanted to go. I also, have the fortunate to have strong male role models. And I always felt like the world was mine to conquer, never felt any limitations. Even though, the limitations were about Irma, don't climb the fence, Irma, don't climb trees, more around protecting me, but never from an intellectual perspective. And then the other part of it was that once I got it started working, people would hear me speak about technical solutions and they realized that I knew my stuff. The other thing was I'm never afraid to ask questions. If I don't know something, I'm still like that. I will go ahead and ask questions. I'm not intimidated. And what I find is people are always willing to share knowledge, share information. And that's helped with engagement and networking for me, and also being willing to learn. So, never felt any type of limitations from my end. Thank you.
Thank you, Irma. Vanessa, any thoughts?
So for me, since I was little, I have been mostly around women. Like from first grade to 12th grade, I went to a Catholic school, where only women were admitted. On my family, we're mostly women. And let me tell you, there's nothing a woman can't do. When applying to a software developer role, I didn't even think about something only guys can do. I have seen women do amazing things while growing up, like building houses, teaching, selling. I think we can be really persuasive. And also like being a housewife, etc. Just because we're told that this is a male-dominated field doesn't mean it always has to be. And the Hartford has shown me that. They encourage women to get into the IT field and they provide you with the necessary tools in order to succeed. My male colleagues, they have never said no if I ask for help. And if I have any suggestion or anything, they're also always willing to help.
Thank you all for your insightful responses. It truly sounds that our culture, being Latina specifically, has truly empowered us in our careers and has allowed us to really believe in ourselves as we contribute to these emerging technologies. I think this transitions beautifully into the next question. Why is it important to have women, specifically Latina, in technology? And how does it elevate a company's bottom line? What are some skills women need to be able to make a mark in a technology space? Vanessa, let's start with you.
So as a woman in technology, I believe that we need to break the stereotype. We need to become role models for future generations. We need to make more presence and show corporate America that we bring more than just a degree to the table. The technical skills that a woman needs to be able to mark in the technology space, I think is the same that a guide needs. If we want companies to elevate the bottom line, learning and aspire to better roles by having more skills, I think we can accomplish this, but this is something that each of us has to do because we want to be successful, because we want a better future for us, and we want to take more challenging roles. By having Latinas in technology, we can have different perspectives and add more value to the business.
Dan.
But yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Vanessa.
Yes.
Leslie, let's go with you.
I was doing a little research on this topic, and studies have actually shown that diversity generates more revenue. According to Forbes, Fortune 500 companies with at least 3 women in leading positions saw a 66% increase in return on investment. Now, I'd say that's an impact to the bottom line. I think that some of the key skills to make your mark in technology is to have that sense of curiosity and a thirst for knowledge, along with problem solving and perseverance. Technology is ever changing and requires a definite commitment to continuous learning.
Thank you, Leslie, for sharing those metrics with us all. It truly speaks to the impact women have in our field. Leslie, as we think about impact to talent, what in your mind are the top 1 or 2 things the leader in the diversity and inclusion community have to think about to retain and attract technical talent? And as a leader in a technological space, what are some key ways we can build a pipeline of talent with more women? What is the Hartford currently doing in this space?
I believe that we as leaders need to create that culture of diversity and inclusion. It's not enough to have a plan or a strategy on paper, but we need to believe it. We need to live it. We need to model it. Employees want to see others who look like them in their place of work and feel that sense of belonging and community. We need to examine and challenge our own biases. And I know that that's not always easy, but we do all have them. Some of the ways that the Hartford is working towards building a pipeline are reaching out to schools. We partner with them, whether it's coaching and mentoring students, technology presentations at the Science Center, career fairs at universities, or offering training for employees who want to make a career change. For example, Vanessa is a graduate of our Hartcode Academy, and now she's a successful software engineer. We also have Women in Technology employee resource groups, and we look for external partners such as the symposium today with Latinas in Power.
Thank you, Leslie. Irma, let's pivot over to you.
Yeah, awesome insight, Leslie, totally. And, I think also to add to what Leslie was saying, part of what a company needs to do is encourage learning. Open opportunities, communicate those opportunities, build cross-functional team and networking opportunities so that people are learning from each other as well. Provide the tools for those learning capabilities. And I think one of the most important things is to recognize people's achievements. Employees want to be recognized. They want to feel like they're contributing to the company. And, and I think the other part of this is that everyone needs to understand that you're really the CEO of your career. You're in charge. Don't wait for others to do it for you. Step in, learn what you need to do. Your leaders are there to help you, but you need to express the interest. You need to go ahead and voice opportunities, not to be afraid, right? I listened recently to an interview with Tyler Perry, right? And one of the things that was asked of him was, how many times did you fail? And he said, I never failed. He goes, I never failed because every single time that I took a step, I learned from it. And so that's really a good mentality to have of your career. And companies, are willing to go ahead and support that. At the Hartford, they're always opening up those opportunities like Leslie was saying. I think the other part of this that I keep on thinking about is, at the Hartford, we're encouraging people to get their AWS certification, for example. And so I had somebody come up to me and say, you know what, Irma, I don't have time during my workday to go ahead and do this. And, I stepped back and I told them, you know what, this is an investment in yourself. You need to be willing to do this off hours. If that is something of interest to you, just take the time off hours. It is something that will belong to you, and you'll feel good about going ahead and achieving this. And so, along with what Leslie was saying, at the Hartford, we do have a strong support system. We do have the employee resource groups. We do have the women in technology. And this, again, allows people to cross-connect, communicate, and it strengthens all employees, not just those that participate, but all employees, and supports the whole DE&I initiative at the Hartford.
Thank you for your insight, Irma. It's really great to see the Hartford putting so much emphasis on attracting and retaining women in IT. The Hartford started a Women in Technology program, as you mentioned, in 2017, which is led by technology professionals and open to all employees in the technology space to provide professional support, growth, advancement, and networking. 2017 was also the year I started my internship with the Hartford as only a sophomore in high school. Throughout my first summer at the Hartford, I was able to witness our Women in Technology program truly flourish to what it is today, and it is one of the reasons why I remained with the Hartford ever since. Being a woman in the technology field, even in my own classes at the University of Connecticut, and majoring in management information systems can often be isolating. But here at the Hartford, I've truly found an environment that embraces my diversity, embraces my culture, and has truly allowed me to grow each day. Irma, I know that you're currently one of those leaders in our Women in Technology program. We work in a super fast-paced world, and we wouldn't all be here advocating for women in technology if we didn't feel great passion for it. So please share with us, Irma, why do you feel that it is important to understand the emerging technologies? What technology trends and challenges keep you up at night and excited? And as a leader, how do you strategize and partner on these technology impacts?
So first of all, nothing keeps me up at night. I sleep like a rock. But as far as emerging technologies are concerned, so during the crisis, this whole COVID crisis, we all got thrown into technology, right? If you're a business owner, if you run a restaurant, if you work for a company working remote, the whole education system, right? That all got turned upside down, where you had all grades, learning online, working online, and then the whole healthcare system. So technology during this COVID crisis played a key role for all ages and all areas of our country and the world, right? The other part was data analytics. When you look at data analytics, it still continues to play a key role, helping everybody understand where are we with the numbers in COVID? You know, who is getting impacted? How is the vaccination going? So clearly the pandemic, although so negative and a sad situation, you know, everybody was relying on that technology to help out. As we look forward to the future, right? Technology's never stays still. We're going to see two emerging trends. One of them is with behavior technology and the other one with experience. And most of us have been using the behavior technology today. You know, if you have a watch that beeps every hour in the hour to remind you to get up and do some walking, that is behavior technology. If you have a car where the speedometer turns red because you're going over the speed limit, mine does that, you know, that's that same thing, right? It's looking to change behavior. And we're going to see that more and more. We're going to see, you know, things like, you know, monitors in bathrooms, believe it or not, right? To make sure that people are providing the correct hygiene around washing your hands, you know, things like that. And then in the experience technology, that's already being deployed out there. You know, people in the military training, video gamers see this, right? This is about becoming part of whatever you're experiencing through your senses, whether it be the touch, whether it be the hearing, you know, any of your senses that get involved in that experience. And, you know, 3D movies. I mean, I love 3D movies. Why? Because I feel like I'm part of that experience. And so we're going to see more and more of that in the virtual reality world. I attended the Science Center. They had some webinar going on, and they were sharing how they were using virtual technology to help people with certain phobias, people that were afraid to step out of their homes. They were using virtual reality to give them that experience of what it meant to step out. In the sports of entertainment, you see the same thing, right? You see virtual reality to help people experience what does it mean to do skydiving, if that's something you're interested in and yet are afraid to do. You could do it via virtual reality and then go out and do that. So we're going to see more of that being incorporated. If you're a small business owner, and if there's anybody here that's a small business owner, I'd be interested to hear, you know, put it in the chat, what business you represent. But the interesting part here is that from a small business owner perspective, you know, those are the things that you should be looking for. You know, where is there a place where technology can play a part in my business? And it could be around customer engagement, notification, you know, any of those things. And the other part that I will say here is if you're afraid of technology, you know, the thing to keep in mind is, number one, obviously, it's easy for me to say, don't be afraid of it because I'm involved with it. I live it and breathe it every day. But the part is that there's so many opportunities. Could be something on YouTube, you know, make that one of your goals. Take baby steps to, you know, attend like a 5-minute video and just start learning the terminology, learning what it is, understanding how you could incorporate it into your everyday life. Because it is all about, you know, little by little and defining the technology that's going to work for you as a human being, and making it part of yourself and not being afraid of it. Be willing to learn.
Thank you, Irma, for your insight. I think we can truly agree that technology really does impact our everyday life. Vanessa, did you have any additional thoughts on this question?
To add to what Irma said, I think technology will constantly be evolving. In order for businesses to grow, we need to meet the consumer needs and deliver customer-friendly products. Emerging technologies allow us to gain valuable insight into the needs and wants of our customers. Artificial intelligence is a great example. Smart assistants have made it easier for us as consumers to make certain everyday things easier, like turning on the light in our rooms or checking who's ringing the door when we're not home. And since the pandemic started, people have become more aware of the need of technology. we're able to work from home or attend a friend's birthday or a celebration, even if they live on the other side of the world. We can now even track COVID cases with our with applications and things like that.
Thank you, Vanessa, for sharing. At this time, I did want to check in with all of the participants and ask if there were any questions so far. I know Irma just asked what businesses are represented in this room. Again, we really want this to be an engaging conversation. So please, if you have any questions for us at this time, we invite you to ask.
I like that filmmaker one.
That's me, Nancy De Los Santos,
Oh,
on the West Coast here in
nice.
Los Angeles. And I'm getting ready to direct my first film. And I know that, well, I have directed a number of years ago, and I know that things have changed immensely for production and film and video assist and a lot of things. So I'm really going to take a deep dive into it. But I think it was Vanessa that I'm going to go with her encouraging words. Women can do anything.
Yes, yes.
We can do
it.
I can figure it out. You know, I will say right now, I wish I could figure out how to get blurred on my Zoom. So no, you don't have to look at my office. I still haven't figured that out, but I'm determined to find that out before the end of the day. But I'm very, very thankful for this. I think you're absolutely right. I'm not afraid of it. I dive into whatever it is. Sometimes it takes an hour. Sometimes I have to let it go and come back to it, you know, after my brain has adjusted.
Yes.
And we can figure it out. And I remember from day one, and I'll date myself here, from day one in high school, learning how to punch key or key punch. Younger folks are not going to even know what I'm talking about, but punch key cards that would go into the computer. And the motto was garbage in, garbage out. You got to hit the right points into whatever you're doing and you'll get the right results. Garbage in, garbage out. Now, Mindy, you have your screen nicely blurred. How the heck do you do that? Maybe you can give me a call later on. I'm going to send you my phone number, actually, Mindy, because I am having a hard time with this, and I don't want to call Zoom. They take forever to answer you.
You don't need to. You don't need to call Zoom. You could just go to your video and click on choose virtual background, and up there's a blur. There's one that says blur for you.
Well,
wow, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, Mindy, I'm gonna send you my number because I do have virtual backgrounds, but blur is not on there. So Mindy, you give me a call after all this. All right. Cool. Thank you. Thank you all for this. I'm gonna run because I think we have that other thing that we have to do.
Yes, we do have like 9 minutes remaining in our breakout sessions, and I do see it's okay. I do see a couple more questions in the chat for our panel. So one question that came in is, as leaders in technology spaces, what do you believe is the first step to take when deciding to move forward with a new technology?
So I'll speak. Yeah, I was gonna say I'll take, you know, so the first thing that I usually do is I do research. You know, I research where is it being used? What is it all about? A lot of times, you know, depending upon the technology, there might be a lot of vendors. So obviously Google rating is a key one for me, right? What are people saying about these particular vendors? What are they saying about the technology? And so that's usually my starting point with any technology.
Just to add on that, Irma, I think research is definitely good. And I know that usually at the Hartford, at least, something we would do is start small with a small proof of concept. Yeah. Start small, prove it out, and then you can build on that.
Yep, excellent point.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. So if there aren't any more questions in the chat, I did want to move forward with the rest of our questions that we had prepared for this session. So the next question we had is that with so many demands in work and in our personal lives, how do you find balance and how do you incorporate wellness and time for yourself and other passions? Vanessa, let's start with you.
So I believe the most important thing to maintain balance at work is working in our mental health first. Meditation is something that helps me. I like to stay active. I try to work out at least 4 times per week, and also like stay connected with friends, not just working out. I've been working on time management as well. I love what I do. So in order to perform well at work, I have to do like wake up early and go for a walk or a run. So that way I come more energized to work. And from there, I just create small deadlines that are just for me and prioritize things at work and prioritize the things that I have to do that day. I try to work 8 hours a day. After I work, I go to meet with my friends for dinner or coffee, and I'm also learning how to play the piano. So I think that's something that takes my mind out of everything.
Thank you for sharing, Vanessa. Irma, any thoughts?
So, like Vanessa was saying, physical movement is very important for me. So, one of the things that I do is I work out 4 times a week. It's a non-negotiable. It's something that I stick to regardless of whether I feel like rolling out of bed or not, because I usually work out like at 5:30 in the morning. And the other part that's really important for me is, as a Latina, family time. So I do make sure to connect with my family, spend time with them. During my family time, I do not discuss work. I do not look to get interrupted about work. It is my time to relax and unwind with them. I want my family, I want to be a good role model for my family, to show them that balance that you could attain. And my family is a big support system, especially for my mental health.
Thank you for sharing, Irma. Leslie?
I think the common theme here is physical movement. So I know for me, I found that I need to get some physical movement, especially since working from home, where if I don't get up and move from my chair, I may only move 200 steps a day. But for me, I need to make it a priority. And making it a priority means I need to put time on my calendar. So I block out that time for some physical movement every day, whether it's a 7 a.m. virtual group X class through the fitness center or a noontime walk at lunch. It's important both for my physical and mental health that I get to moving every day. I did notice that there was another question in the chat that I just wanted to touch on in regards to how important do you feel it is to network in this space, and what would you suggest someone do to network and get involved? I definitely feel that networking is extremely important. It gives you an opportunity to meet new people, learn about new technologies or what's happening in other industries or even within your own company. Some of the groups I think to join are Women in Technology International. There's a witty group. Fairy God Boss actually has some really good networking and tips. And then also, as Marilyn mentioned this morning, right, Latinas in Power is another great networking opportunity.
Thank you for answering that question in the chat. And in our last couple of minutes, because I do see that the time is ticking, I did just want to ask if you can share one piece of advice with the audience on, technology and, how to mitigate sort of dealing with new technologies, or any encouraging words on, how to really not be afraid of it. Please share that now. Irma, let's start with you.
Sure. So again, we've said this over and over again, right? Technology's here to stay. Find something that you enjoy doing and marry it with a technology, right? If you are somebody just thinking of going to school or already involved in stuff, if you like detective work, right? Something like, problem solving, problem kind of stuff, see if forensics, technology, and there's many aspects to that, is something that you want to pursue. If you're in art or photography, see if, web design or graphics design is something that you enjoy doing as well, right? And then the other thing is, if you like mechanics, if you're a hands-on kind of person, you like building things, putting things together, robotics, probably you're thinking robotics, but yes, robotics, very up and coming technology as well. All of those fields are fields that are just looking to get women involved, getting Latina representation in there. So Go for it.
Thank you. And in our last 2 minutes, I just wanted to say thank you for representing to Hartford today to all of our panelists. I did want to extend our gratitude to Latinas in Power for allowing us the platform to share our experiences and culture. At this time, as I mentioned earlier, you will need to go back to your email and click on the webinar link for the keynote speaker sessions. I know we did have some technical issues, so I did want to give back a minute or two just to make sure that we can all return to the main session smoothly. And as we transition to the next session, please enjoy the sounds from the Latin Heart Beat Orchestra. Thank you all again for joining us here today. And again, please do not feel afraid of, taking the punch with going with new technologies. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Angelica.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Prodigio, dímelo.